Hello, everybody. Welcome to Moons of Ascension for the March 2020 moon cycle that we're about to embark on this new moon. I'm Jen Berryhill, and I'm excited to be in company with these phenomenally amazing, strong women here today with us. And today is just going to be a nice, fun, light roundtable discussion. And we're going to just see where it all leads to for us to work with for this next moon phase. So I'm just going to open it up right now and let y'all introduce yourselves. Let us know where you're coming in from, and just maybe kind of what your intention might be for us today as we're launching this conversation. So I'll start with you, Lelie. If you want to jump on in and give us a little bit, that would be great.
My name is Lelie Carroll, and I have a healing center in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's Earth Star Healing Center. And I am always in service, so I never really know what my day is going to be like. Right now, it's all about timelines. It's all about the real history of Earth, and it's the grandmothers right now are really talking about us following our guidance and guiding others, but listening to our inner guidance and not being so distracted by what's going on around us, just sailing through like we do as goddesses that we are.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm happy you're here with us. Let's go over to you, Zoe-Anna.
Hi, my name is Zoe-Anna Bell, shortly known as Zoe. I'm here in Sydney, Australia, and living my life moment to moment. I'm very much being in service, really playing that game of being in response, what comes up, who is brought to me. So I'm a healer, mentor, guide, writer, and a lot of the work is around the womb healing, really supporting the feminine to really heal, because feminine heals, then we heal the earth. What is my intention of bringing in today? Creating some beautiful magic between us and co-creating and weaving and sharing and learning and growing as we really anchor in right now for planet love. Yeah. That's it. It's a pleasure, an honor to be here.
Oh, it's so great to meet you finally. Yeah, let's go ahead and have Melanie Kay go ahead and give us a little bit too.
Sure. My name is Melanie Kay. I'm here in Darwin, Australia right now. I'm not originally from here, but I've been in Australia working with the ley lines and the grid here on this continent since the pandemic. In the last, I guess, half decade of my life, I've been hyper focused on doing this grid work and just have been following my inner guidance and being led to different places and doing my best as a quadruple Scorpio person that I am to transmute and dispel the blockages and the bindings that stop us from ascending into our new earth. Wow. So that's what I've been up to. And I think I really resonate. Well, I don't think I know I really resonate with Lelie when she says some of my intention in coming to this circle is about staying connected and actually starting to more deeply access that soul purpose and staying and finding strength in that, because if there isn't that pole star kind of within you guiding you, it is so even more than it's ever been easy to get off path and to get distracted. So I think that's what is coming through the most right now. It's just staying with your practices, listening deeply to what that intuition is and not getting pulled off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, yes. And it sure seems like there's a lot of things that want to get us drag our attention and pull us into places that are a distraction and maybe a little less of the light. So yeah, I mean, there's so many things we can talk about tonight. And it's always so fascinating how these gatherings manifest. And, you know, just as of a few days ago, I didn't really know who was going to be joining me on this call today. And as it turns out, so we've got Zoe and Melanie anchoring in light down under in Australia. And Lelie and I don't live very far from each other in Colorado. So it's this beautiful sort of portal of energy that is, you know, really going through the core of the earth as we're having this discussion. And, you know, 4 powerful, you know, pillars of light that are just here in this idea of, you know, really connecting and supporting, bridging and igniting that deeper knowing of our soul mission. And it's really perfect timing to be having that conversation, just knowing where we are at on the Earth Star calendar walk. And, you know, last month was working with the whales and the Pleiadians and, you know, clearing karma and forgiving. And it's, you know, it really comes down to whatever your vibration is. What is your choice? Do you really want to clear? Do you really want to forgive? So, you know, it's always a choice. And so we're either clearing it or we're creating more. And so I just have been watching silently behind the scenes, just observing, you know, how the world is really reflecting itself right now collectively, and, you know, more interpersonally. And yeah, I don't know. I find like that's a great segue, because now we are moving into this eagle moon, and it is about renewal, and it's about, you know, balancing the future and guiding time for that life purpose, you know, for that inner vision quest. So I'll just open it up to whoever might want to just share more about what they see, what they're feeling, what they're going through, how we can navigate this coming cycle, and you know, see what we can come up with to help each other out.
I just actually moved that. Thank you for pointing out the geography piece, because I always think of, you know, the Rockies in Colorado as like being just this beautiful home of white buffalo calf woman, and knowing the story of her bringing the pipe back to the planet and showing people how to pray. Like, I just hold that essence is so alive there. And then being here in Australia, where the solar plexus chakra of the planet is, and like, how do we bring prayer into the power center? Like, just the fact that we're like in physical space, kind of making that link, that feels so strong and so alive. So I just thought I'd name that synchronicity as you were sharing about our location. It's like that feels so alive. I've been feeling like deeper clearings between my heart and my solar plexus, deeper clearings between my third eye and my solar plexus. You know, like just this top range has been doing a lot of work, you know, I've been working with the lower chakras, but now it's like, how do we like weave this into the power center?
Well, and I was reading about Uluru this morning. And so it's really interesting because I didn't know who was going to be on the Zoom. And so it's beautiful. Hello. You know, I'm reading about, you know, Australia and New Zealand and Lemuria, and making notes of all these places that I want to go in the future to reconnect the energy, to reconnect with the energy. And it's kind of like my wish list for whenever I can. And so I love that you both are here bridging what I've been reading, you know, for years, but also just today. And so I go and I say, okay, what books do I need to look at? What am I researching? And it's all been 11/11 and 1/11. And my curiosity is my birthday is 1/11. And so yours too?
What?
Oh my gosh.
That's probably 11. So you 1st of January. So you're 1/11. You say it differently, don't you?
I'm January 11th and you're November 1st.
11/1. So I'd be 11/1 in US. So 1st of November. So we're, yeah. So
oh, that's perfect. Wow. So yeah. So I was researching all of that today, which is so amazing. Not knowing, I mean, I don't ask questions, I just follow. And so I'm really feeling that we need to share this with others, because there is so much chaos. If I go on social media, I'm off in 5 minutes, because it's just so chaotic. And we all have created these special places in our homes and in our environment that we need to share with others on how they can do that, you know, because we need that sacred space. And we also need to be able to create that sacred space wherever we are, whatever's going on. We can just ground in. And I'm a grounder, so you know, that's a big part of my life. But that's amazing. I love the synchronicity today. That's awesome. So yeah, well, thanks, Jen.
That's so fun already. Yeehaw.
I know.
Oh, good. Well, and
Wow.
I think that's so special too, just knowing, I'll briefly say and let somebody else talk, but it's like we just came in this last moon, came through that huge 22 portal. So it just like mirrors this 11:11, and here you guys are like this mirror of the 11:11, like so much balancing has come, but also with that, like such a surge of new energy. For me, at least, it's felt like this surge of new life force energy, renewed purpose, renewed like I just have like a motor behind me now, just feeling like I'm exploding with energy. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
much. I think 222 is when the grandmothers wanted me to keep working on knowledge from the stars. And I put every single message that's come through on that website in 2 days. It just blasted through. So it's so important for us to be sharing we're getting downloads, you know, daily. And we've got to be able to get the messages out. They're not for us. We don't remember them, but you know, so it's really a lot of it is sharing what we're doing and how to reach each other, and also how to reach others, because they are wondering what's going on, and you know, it's all coming in. I mean, it's channels wide open.
Indeed. Yeah. So Zoe, you want to jump? Who's ringing? Who's coming in?
I'm sorry, I'm ringing my child.
Okay.
Someone else is
Let's go.
coming in.
Yeah. So Zoe, what do you want to jump in with?
What I'm feeling into right now, what's been playing out, yeah, a lot of distractions, and really inspiring others to go on that little bit of the maverick walk, their own little walk journey of really listening to where they're being called moment to moment, and following the signs, not from the social media, but really in their everyday life. Grounding is a huge part. I don't have earth anywhere in my chart, so I have a lot of fire, a lot of the other elements. So like grounding is vital to really check in and ask for the messages, you know, ask what messages are coming through you, and trust, and then receive. So I've been getting a lot of messages from the rock people, and, you know, it'll often be afterwards from a picture, and then I will look at it and there will be a face in the rock, or there will be a message of really feeling protected, and to trust, people to trust, to disconnect, to really reconnect. And yes, sharing our messages as they flow through, because they can come through so fast. And with no expectation, and knowing that whoever's meant to see the message is coded and coded within coded. And sometimes I found as well, that's not even through voice, simply by moving my body, and I'm like, oh, this feels good, I'm going to explore this, and then I'll record it and share it, and others like, wow, that activated me, whoa, that's awakening something. And you know, it's often within that silence and the presence that we all have that beautiful embodiment of.
Yeah, and you make such a great point that, you know, it's like, well, there are these amazing synchronicities, and then there's this knowing that we're all carrying codes and we're all receiving messages, and we really need each other to have that place to communicate that information, because we're helping each other remember, and something you say might help me really understand something that did happen and came through, and I was just like, I don't even know what that means, but you said something and now I kind of know. And so we're like all walking each other home on this great path of ascension, and it's just vital that we stay connected and really come in at this place from the heart, and instead of ripping each other apart, like, let's be done with that program and start lifting each other up, because there's such amazing beauty here waiting for us to really anchor in. And it's always just so fascinating too, because like all of a sudden my schedule shifted, and I had this window open up, and it was like, you're going to South Dakota, you're going to the Black Hills. And I'm like, oh, cool. I've been wanting to get back up there. And for whatever reason, like the doors just flew open. And so I ended up being able to stay in this beautiful little town called Hill City in the Black Hills, South Dakota, which is right near Harney Peak, which is a really potent spot. It's called Black Elk Peak as well. I did some Vision Quest time there last spring, and it was just so amazing to be brought back there, because it's like there's more to do, there's more to hear, to know. And then ironically after that, I was brought up to Bear Butte, and I'm hiking up Bear Butte, and I am the only person there in this huge park, and sitting at the top of the mountain and just praying and calling in the whales and the Pleiadians, and knowing we're in this amazing portal of manifestation. I just had this conversation with creation, and I said, I don't even really know why I'm here right now, but since I am, I'm going to put some prayers up. And I thought this is the perfect time to pray for clean air, beautiful, bountiful flowers and rain for the springtime, the clean fire and strong connections to spirit. And as I got done with my prayer, this huge gust of wind just about blew me off the mountain. So I was like, okay, that's awesome, time to go. So have you guys had some like nudges and kind of like looping back into places where you've been before to get more of pieces of the puzzle?
Well, I can just share, like, I feel like there was no way I wasn't going to be in Darwin. It was like not on my plan or, like idea to be here. And now here I am. I have a 12-month lease, and like, I'm like, what am I doing here? And so things continue to unfold about what it is I'm doing here. And there's an incredible vortex here. It's like almost every day I see a dragon in some way, shape, or form, whether it's on the etheric planes or it's actually like on a wall somewhere, or yesterday I saw one on a well, and it was just like, okay, I saw one at a landscaping yard. I mean, it was just like, okay, this place, there'd be dragons here. So like, I've been working and helping transmute the dragons since I've landed here. This collective, this woman from the Star Knowledge Conference, whom I met in Atlanta, reached out to me and said, I think you'd be amazing part of this group of people who do this guided meditation and sit and work with the dragons. Like, okay, so just like welcoming, just like following that guidance. So I know there's sites here that want me to sit with them. And there's a specific birthing site here that's been kind of not honored as that. There's other places here on the land that just really want that person to sit with them that can listen enough to actually acknowledge and recognize. And as I'm doing that, it's amazing. I met this woman who is actually working on bringing the families of the original indigenous of this land back together. There's only 2,500 Larakia people left here, but they're all somewhat divided on the lore of the land and the stories of the land. And so just meeting her, and I met her through a dance thing that I was doing, like she's sharing with me that on a big scale, they're coming together to find some harmony here on this big vortex. So something that it speaks to just being on the land, being with the land, listening, following guidance, listening to the divine plan and how creator wants to use you in service to harmonize and heal what maybe has been cracked or, just dissipated in harmony.
And my journey's been more within than out. We've had a really cold snap, and so it was, not really fun to be outside. But the grandmothers have just been having me kind of put things in order and get things together, and you need to do this first, and then you need to do that. And so I just really feel like it's more inner work, but it's also putting things together to share with others. And so it's been more organizational. I think things will shift as things get warmer, but so it's definitely been more inner work than outer work right now.
So a little bit of both. I had a beautiful experience where I got to be on really sacred land, and my plan was to go there for 5 days, and excited to be there, and it was beautiful on the land. And a sister and I, from when we got there was just these things being thrown at us, these restrictions, rules, you can't do this. And we were like, very much, no, we're listening to our instinct, we're staying in this, we weren't going to budge on what we really felt and tuned into. And we really absorbing into the land and to the elements, and this massive storm came through the elements, like the earth was roaring and part of the tent got ripped away, and there was a lot of it felt like Mother Gaia was really roaring and charging up the land of the way that the land was not being honored in its sacredness. And I think it was like 12 hours later, both of us in the middle of the night, we were like, that's it. In the morning, we're out of here. We, pack out, we need to go. We need to honor our sovereignty and really stand in our virtue in a place of peace, as we came there for peace and it was not peace. And really letting go of all the other stuff that was going on, seeing this divine opportunity of this test almost for both of us to really stand in that and then have no attachment to whatever was that it needed to play out. And yeah, it was just beautiful. And then from that, all these different pieces started opening. I was never meant to be there for the 5 days. I came back and it was fire in my business, but my approach was very different. It was, I need to get this done. So it was like, my motto was get shit done, get shit done, get shit done. It was like that. And it was very, very quick. So what would have normally taken 6 weeks to do, I was getting it done. I got it done within 6 days. So it was really honoring the messages moment to moment. And even when you want to be somewhere, if you're not meant to be there, by staying there, that would have played out other karmic waves from that. So yes, and from that, other doors have opened, and really other doors are opening, which are really that response of really honoring your worthiness and really honoring that, even if that's not received by, and really standing in that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's like the inner work is really the work, and then living that outwardly as your own knowing and wisdom, and standing in your truth of knowing that, and being brave, because there's just so much energy that may not want to see that in somebody or experience that in themselves, and so it's like resistance or something that strikes and just kind of changes the energies. And, you know, the weather is such a reflection of the collective mind. And you helped me to have that awareness, Melanie, that, you know, when I had that big burst of wind, I was like, oh yeah, that's the dragons. It's Tate. Tate works with the dragons. And then you brought up dragons and I'm like, oh my gosh. And we were talking about, you know, birthing and healing as women. And so I feel like, you know, there's like something really rich that wants to come through around this idea of, you know, who's really coming online to help us that we haven't really seen much of maybe in a really, really long time. We're clearing all these old bundles from the Lemurian and Atlantean times and just generations and generations and generations of karmic you know, things that have carried through in our lifetimes. So for me, it's like I'm hearing a lot more people talking about dragons and you know, just the star seeds, the star kids that are really coming in right now. I just feel like there's an amazing connection here with something kind of mythical, but yet super powerful and maybe about to reveal itself. Anybody have anything they want to add on that?
Well, when I came back from South Dakota, the dragons were in the sky. So that was in July. And ever since then, I've had people talk about dragons, and I saw a dragon that was green and red. And so they said to get a bracelet that had the ruby zoisite, and that would help me to connect to that dragon. And I'm more, you know, horses, dogs, cats, not so much mythological creatures. And so it really took a lot for me to go, okay, I'll start working with these dragons. And I never did before. They were, you know, Quetzalcoatl, you know, the winged serpents, but not so much dragon. And now it seems like they've come in full force in so many different ways. And I even found there are 3 dragon videos that it's messages from Grandma Chandra, and I think it was Laguna Beach when the messages came through. And so I've started listening to those. So there's so much coming through that just I'm learning every day and finding so much more. I really feel like it's a direction that we're all going in, and I'm waiting to get more information. So yeah.
I had the dragons coming around a year ago, could have been a year and a half ago, and this real initiation of, and then how can I explain it? A lot of it would happen in my dream time, and then it felt like coming into this oneness with the dragon, and then memories of being a dragon trainer in other lifetimes. It could be future or past, or so that was coming through, and other memories of actually being a shape-shifting dragon. So I'll often feel that if I'm wanting to have more of that courage, it's like almost used to feel like angel wings, but actually feels like dragon wings. And even my light language has started going a little bit more harsh, that sometimes it sounds a little, I've heard, you know, where they've, I think it was on Game of Thrones, my friend sent it to me, she went, this is like you. And the girl on there is like talking in like dragon language. And I'm like, oh, that sounds very similar. So yes, I feel from listening to all of you, I actually need to be more intentional with it and actually start nourishing that and calling in more. Haven't seen any baby dragons. I was like, oh, I sometimes think, and then I'm like, oh, that would be really cool. I love it when I hear it.
And there is this alchemy that's happening where, you know, I study the mind calendar, and the very first archetype is the dragon representing birth and nurturing and this, you know, breath of new life. So there's that. And then, you know, people are I'm sure many of you have heard of the Sophia Code. Like she got all the downloads for that, like awakening of the divine feminine through the dragon codes. And, you know, I'm remembering actually traveling out of this creator galaxy to dragon lands. I remember being there, you know, and there's these beautiful yin yang dragon creator beings that live there. So I feel that is like, there's something about also working with the grids and the ley lines that I found. It's like oftentimes that movement of energy through the earth, through the wind, through the water has like that quality about that in the other dimensional awarenesses. So it's like when you do release a binding on the land, like oof, you can feel the energetic of the dragon come through. I'm sure with all that water and that storm energy, you know, of you in that sacred place, Zoe, and like on top of the butte and the wind coming in, it's like, whoo, you're getting the kiss of that multi-dimensional aspect to the elements, you know, and yeah, I think so many dragons are waking up right now because the energy is right now, we're vibrating at a high enough frequency for them to be back in their life force. And it makes sense to me as we're birthing our new earth. And yeah, welcome.
Welcome. So awesome. Yeah, and it's like, okay, oh yeah, well, there's also this connection with the dragons that you know, like it's the lizard of dream time, the horse and the dragon, you know, they all have these really long spines. And in our spines, you know, we have connections. I think it's 28 stargates that are within our spine, and how within these gates within us, it connects to a star realm that, you know, it's like also anchored here on the earth. And so working with your, you know, the activation of your bones and releasing that memory, I was finding that my dreams were very much very different and very active. I actually had this dream that I was a dog and I was riding a horse, and I rode my horse as this dog past a deer that had been shot and it wasn't dead and it was trying to get up. And I was like, I gotta go get help. And I ran inside my house and I looked in the mirror and my face was a dog, but then it turned into a grandmother. I'm like, wow, that was a lot to unpack in that dream. So, you know, like just how are your dreams and what are you getting from your dreams?
I'm going to share a dream from last year because I keep getting the message. I need to share it with all of you and see where it resonates. But I had a dream that I kept going back to night after night, and it went on for 5. So often now I'll go back into dreams on sequential, is that the right word? Sequential nights, like night after night. Basically, you mentioned Uluru as well. Basically, the dream that I got was I was out and I had this big backpack, and there were these pegs, and they were copper pegs. And I was picking these pegs up and putting them inside my bag. And I was like, what are they for? What are they for? And then the next night I was told, just pick up the pegs, pick up the pegs. And then we were on this hill. So we were climbing up. And so it came to it, cut a long story short, I got to the end of the dream and I got the message, the pegs were actually handing over to others to give them all across the earth. And I gave this message to many people across the grid, as it felt like they're pegs to put into the grid on the ley lines as they connect to one another, almost like jump leads. Kept getting jump leads. It's like jump leads to assist jumpstart the heart of the earth to then shift that leap. So it was these pegs. So I gave the friend, shared a message in a post. She then had a dream that night. She was like, I've been in Uluru, I've been putting pegs all around there. So this activation was then activating others to then go and whatever they felt they needed to use the peg for. So I put some in sacred land. And yeah, I feel that they are creating this grid within, beyond the grid, this golden lattice matrix, which actually brings me back to the dream I've just remembered of the dragon egg. And the dragon egg was shape-shifting with a girlfriend in Canada. And we were both seeing the same thing. We were awake. We were both seeing the same thing in our visions on the same mission work, protecting Sophia, and we'd shape-shifted into dragons. And the egg was the egg that was going underneath Alaru, and it was going underneath the tree of life. And then there was another dream of removing snake skins and snakes off the tree to get into the tree of life. So that's sort of like, that's what happens in the dream time. And then you share that with someone and they're like, oh my gosh, you've given me a code. Then they go into the dream and then they do the rest of the mission work.
When I was remembering, we did a ceremony with the dragons a couple months ago, and I didn't have a dragon song. And so the grandmothers told me to sing the horse song because the dragons are the horses of the air. And so when you mentioned horse, I went, okay, I get it, you know? And so for me right now, it's all about connecting to the dimensional travelers. So the Bigfoot people, those that understand the vortexes, the portals, and the dimensions of this planet, so that we can all connect and learn from each other, and also learn that movement. So that's what I've been kind of doing. And then I happened to watch a video, and it was all about timelines and time travel. And so I've got 7,000 questions that I'm going to have to answer at some point, but it's all numbers, and it's all just messages from others and crumbs that we're all putting out there. And somebody asked me yesterday, how are you going to be able to connect to people? And then I got a message from Jen, would you like to be on a Zoom? So that's fast.
Fast.
You just can't make it up.
No.
I
And it
really
keeps
resonate.
going.
It's amazing. That time looping, that came up so strong for me in the 222 portal. In fact, that night I woke up right before 2 a.m. that morning from this dream where I was, and I very lucidly remember being at the 222 portal and going back to New Year's 3 years ago and playing something out and literally rewriting the history of it, and then coming back. And then I went through the 222 doorway again and went back to another place in time and rewrote something else. I was remembering and rewriting history in my dream time. And I'm not sure if it was that night or the next night, but I had this is pretty it was that night that one of the rewritings was around mother. It was like, I was at this place, I had a divine partner. They didn't have, I don't know who it was, but I knew it was a divine partner. And I was introducing them to my mother. And it was like every mother figure in my life in this life or this earth walk was there at this party. And I just kept saying, and this is my mom. And this is my mom. Introduce and here, meet my mom. And my real mom in this earth walk was there. And I could tell she was kind of like, you know, somewhat offended, but also really accepting and understanding. But it was like just actually honoring the collective mother. And I woke up, I felt really different. I felt like something had like really landed in a different way. There's, maybe some shedding of some guilt that I've taken or received mothering from others, you know, or something of that nature just kind of fell away. And it's like, no, we're all mothering each other. And the earth is mothering us, you know, in this earth walk, and that just to like see it as the collective mothering felt really yummy.
I love that. Yeah, Lelie, you held up your 1111 Solara book, and I read that book a couple months ago, and then all of a sudden, maybe a week or so ago, I got that nudge, like, get up. You know, and I'm like, it's 3 a.m. I'm not getting up. Get up. like, ugh. So I go downstairs and I've got my stuff. I'm like, all right, what do I need to know? What do you need to tell me? And it was just like the 1111 Solara book just jumps out at me. I'm like, okay. So I'm thumbing through pages and I get to this part where it starts talking about comes this point in time where you find your memories have faded, and you might feel like you're kind of losing your mind because you're not remembering things anymore. And like for the last year, I'm just like, I don't even remember my third grade teacher. I don't remember what I was doing when I was 17. I don't remember, like this relationship very well anymore. What's it's kind of like beating myself up, like, gosh, am I getting some kind of weird thing as I'm getting older? And I just kind of surrendered to it. But then all of a sudden in this 1111 book, in that particular section, it talked about that being a very common ascension symptom. So we're like, and to me, it was like in my head, I was processing this. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a loop. And I'm reading it. I'm like, there's like this thing about the 20-year and back, like this 20-year cycle, and how we're like in a new 20-year cycle. I'm like, shit, we're having an overlap. And right as I had that thought, my thumb slipped off the page and the page flipped over and it said overlap.
Ugh.
And I was just like, ah! I'm like, holy crap, okay. Paying attention. So I don't know, there's just such amazing things that we can, they just come out of nowhere and they bring you some like awareness and some clarity. And so I would love to hear about your book, Zoe, if you would share a little bit about what you have going on.
Woo. So I can relate to what you said about the past. It feels like a blank slate now. Does that make sense? Feels like a blank slate. So this Soul Codes is the third book in a trilogy series. But basically this book is everything that's playing out right now. It's about remembering your soul mission as a starseed, as however you relate to that. And gosh, how can I explain it? Really about stepping into leadership of self, giving different insights into body, mind, and spirit practices to really connect you with your essence and walk in peace here on earth. It's about, gosh, it's hard for me to even explain it because now it's like, it's done. Yeah, I look at what's happening right now, and we've got this, people that are either in fear or love, and it's giving people a how-to so they can remember who they are as a galactic warrior. And it's like a galactic guide, so you can really start to learn how to remember your inner power, how to work with the energies, and really be in a place of self-responsibility with that as a sovereign being. And a big component is inviting others to give them permission to let go of the past, to truly come into forgiveness, to truly come into compassion, what love actually means, and to let go of what is tethering them and they're still carrying around. And I feel that is coming through more and more. It's time to put it down, where we're moving forward to. And yes, as you know, with this symbol, free will and freedom, I've actually put a disclaimer in the book to say that when people do hold this book in their hands, if fear is the underlying frequency that they have going on, it will exacerbate it. Mm-hmm. If it's love, it will do the same. And for people to really start seeing that they're the only one that needs to keep going in and doing the inner work. Mm-hmm. And it's never done. It's a beautiful infinite journey. When you think it's done, you get put on your ass and you get served another lesson. You're like, okay.
More layers. Yeah, I love
More
that. I love
layers.
everything that you just said, because, you know, it's just like what I was witnessing this past month was like the total perfection of polarities. It was like absolute intolerance or beautiful compassion and acceptance. And, you know, they've been just this clashing force. And so it's just like, yeah, I mean, the work is never done. You can't just, you know, sit on a hill and pray for 4 days and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm a healed person, and get on with your life. I mean, there's so much more to us because we are so multidimensional, and there's so much coming online right now on a galactic level with these ascension codes coming in, and with our own, you know, the work that we are doing to elevate our frequencies. It's just opening up more and more and more. And what I find is like the polarities, you know, it's not just a little bit of dark and a lot of light. Everything's equal. So if there's a lot of light and a lot of love, there's going to be an equal measure of the opposite at the other end. And so part of me is like, is this part of what the chaos really is? Is this what is shaking everybody up so much and causing chaos? Because you literally cannot run from it anymore. I mean, we have to face everything that comes to us. And so I love that there's been so many tools that have come along just, you know, in the last couple decades. And it sounds like your book is a really beautiful tool that is so needed right now. So can you tell us where we can find your book?
So I've actually taken everything off Amazon and it's all on my website. So can I share my website?
Absolutely, please do.
So it's Zoe-Anna.com. And I'm slowly migrating. This is book number 6. So I'm slowly migrating things over. And there's much more many books to come.
I love it. Keep doing it. Keep going, girl.
It gives a foundation to really about, you know, it goes into conscious coupling and sacred sensuality, and a foundation because we have far more where we're going beyond with that.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even experienced yet, or we may have experienced, but with non-physical beings. Mm-hmm. So it gives a real foundational structure to then have those anchoring of those tools, so then you can continue to keep expanding.
Excellent. And then Lelie, you also talked about the website Knowledge of the Stars. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you got going on there?
So it's knowledge from the stars.
Okay.
And those messages started coming in a year ago. And just before 2/22, the grandmother said, they said, so I kind of asked, what do I need to do each day? And the grandmothers were like, you need to finish those transcriptions now. So I did. And then I got the message, you need to put them all on the website. And so I spent a couple days just finding them and putting them all on the website. And so it's Dear Children of Earth is one of the main messages, and it's the messages for now. And then I have messages that have come in for the past year that have been from Metatron, the dolphin and the whales, the Lemurian grandmothers, the star grandmothers, the star people. I even had a message from 17, just a variety of messages. Some are personal, but I just put them out there because it's going to help whoever in whatever way. And so I am a channel, I'm a constant channel. And so they put me on these tasks to go find, so right now it's what happened between December 31st, 2011 and now.
Yes.
Because my feeling was we were supposed to be on more of an ascension timeline than we are. So what happened? Why did it happen? And what are we supposed to do about it? So my books today are the 1111, Starborn, and the Keys of Enoch. And it's all 11, 111, 1, 1111. That's been my journey today. And I fill notebooks. And then I try to figure out why, what am I collecting? Why am I doing this? But I really feel like we have to answer those questions. And a lot of it comes down to the timelines and how they've been shifted. And I don't know about you guys, but I was watching Travelers. I was watching these TV shows that were all about time travel and timelines and changing the past to change the future. And I really feel like that's been a huge part of our life that we really haven't noticed until now. So I'd love, if you have any information on that, I'd love to have you guys share what your thoughts are.
Well, I have to name that I was so inspired by our last time that we swirled a couple of months ago for the new moon that I actually did order that 1111 by Solara book. And I've read it already because I was just like this is all information I needed to know. And yeah, I also got the book on the Ryan Wars and so I also had that question, like what happened to Solara and what happened at the end of that period of time. I'm so curious. So I'm really grateful you're doing that that inquiry, you're participating in that. Since this opening, I've been wanting to do this for ages, but I actually finally put it into play. I'm hosting my first in-person workshop on creating your own earth honoring ceremony. So since I've done ceremony work with so many different tribes and new ages and globally, I feel like I've gotten the common denominators out of that work and just the different tools that you need to create sacred space, how what to keep in mind when designing an altar and what you're doing when you're dropping into heart coherence. How do you access the core star of the planet? How do you access the cosmos? So we're doing this workshop and hopefully I'll translate it to an online offering soon, but I'd like to do it face to face with real bodies first before I feel like I can put that out there. So much. That's my big question. I'm so grateful to hear, Zoe, you have this guide that people can really link into, this guide to that's my big question is for people that don't have a solid sense in what their intuition is saying to them. How do you get there? And what can you do to help create an environment where you can push, some of the story out, some of the programming out, some of the, the other voices from what you should do, and how do you clear enough space that you can listen to your own inner voice? And I think that's a big step. I think it's getting easier as the energies and the frequencies get higher to do that than it was, say, 30 years ago. But it's still a big question. That's where I really want to help people find those core practices to get through that noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I mean, there's so many people that are just starting their kind of proverbial spiritual awakening journey, and they're looking for what they can resonate with to help, kind of just get them going in a direction of understanding. And I mean, I've met people recently that they literally feel like they're going absolutely crazy. This poor woman, she was in tears. She's like, I don't know where this information is coming from, but I'm just getting this voice in my head. And she showed me some of the things that she wrote down. I'm like, well, thank God you're writing it down. That's a very, very good step, just get this down on paper, and then, I think we have to kind of let go of the judgment of what's happening and just be like, oh, wow, this is new, just kind of be in that curiosity with it. But then, being able to find other resources and, the workshops, the books and everything else that can help people progress and have an understanding of what's going on. And I'm just excited because, there's so many things that are coming online that we don't even really know yet. And whether it's a healing device or some sort of new song or, just it could be anything. And so, Melanie, how can people find you where you're at? So, we can help, support you in your workshops and stuff. And obviously would love to be part of your online workshop once you launch.
Thank you. I'm still working on my website, but it's starbodyearth.com. There is a website there that was a placeholder, starbodyearth.com. And it's just, I'm really evolving it. I put something up there at the conjunction in 2020 when I was first going to launch a teaching around the Mayan calendar teachings and sacred time. So the next, after I do this this earth activations workshop, the very next thing that follows, which hopefully I'll have it ready by May, is an introduction to natural time. And from that, there's an opportunity to start learning about the cycles of the Mayan calendar and how that can bring you into natural time rather than this kind of false time that we're in. I'm also working with a friend of mine who studies Vedic astrology, which is actually studying the astrology of where the stars are and the planets are in the sky now. I didn't know this, but until I started working with him years ago, our tropical astrology actually tracks the sky where it was when astrology was first developed. So we're 23 degrees off when we're actually saying like, oh, the new moon's going to be in, tell me what it is. I don't even know, but the new moon's going to be in Pisces, right? According to our Western astrology. Actually, in the sky, it's in Aquarius. Figure that. How have we been like tracking it 23 degrees off of it when we can look up and see it's not actually in Pisces? Like, blows my mind. So he's going to be doing a series shooting off of the natural time that helps you align with the 27 different constellation that the moon travels through in a moon cycle. So I'm so excited for that. And yeah, hopefully we'll have an offering at some point that works with like the 11-11 and the 12-12 and the 13-13, because I think that's also a way to track natural time. So I would love to hopefully have an offering down the track in that modality as well.
Ooh, I love that. You know, and that must be why I just never really could fully resonate with astrology, because there's just something that just feels so off, you know, and it's like just to chunk it out into 12 months has always felt weird. And so, you know, it's just getting back into this natural time and natural rhythm, just being open to that. It's amazing what's been showing up for me. And I think for me, just this coming month, given that it's the Eagle Moon and it's kind of preparing for vision questing, I'm excited to use this time to just go into my own silence and do some more exploration, asking those important questions. Who am I? Where am I going? Where do I need to be? So that I can level up into the whatever initiation thing is happening with me. Because life is definitely different now that, you know, we were released and we're in a new beginning. And it's not super clear where this vessel needs to be at all. And trying to figure it out and efforting into something just isn't really working. So I decided I'm going to just have fun. And my husband and I, Brian and Blaze, we're doing so good, and we're just, you know, loving on each other and having fun and relaxing, you know, just doing less doing and being more being and observing and watching and praying a lot. I'm praying a lot, and just mostly just for the silence and clarity and comfort. And there's so many people that need help. So that's where I'm putting my focus on my meditations, is really just channeling as much love and light as I can out to those hearts that are really needing extra help right now. So that's what I've got. But I've really enjoyed this time. It went so fast. I can't believe it's already been practically an hour that we've been together, and I feel like we could talk for like all night long. Which I would love to do with you all. So just in parting and closing for this call, what would be one more thing that you would like to just offer in as we kind of wrap up?
I think I just want to like just piggyback on what you're talking about and just allowing the beingness, you know, just allowing that beingness. And my mantra right now is light and easy, Just like, yeah, keep moving, but no forcing, just light and easy. And just stay in the beingness, follow the inspiration, follow my bliss. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that.
Mhm. Feel your wings. Know you have other things that are powering you up.
Really honoring it feels like a sacred pause, really going in and honoring the preening of your wings, the meditation, the stillness, the silence, the asking. There's no urgency. And yeah, it's this right time for us receiving those downloads for self and honoring that. So then when we come out, it's quick, 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 quick. Yep, that's what it feels.
Love it.
So I'm feeling this season that we're coming into is spring, and I know it's different on the other side of the planet, but it's all about rebirth and renewal. You know, I'm hearing the birds and I'm seeing a lot of animal movement, and I'm really feeling to share, trust your guidance, create your sacred space, listen to spirit, listen to your guides and angels, and listen to the world around you, and get into that creativity in whatever way you can or want to, because that's continuing that flow of energy. So, and ask for help if you need it. You know, there's so many people with so much information out there. We just need to ask, you know.
Awesome, ladies. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you all here for this call today, and super excited for us all to just continue on this beautiful path that we're all forging ahead on. And we will definitely have more calls together. I feel that for sure. And we just want to say good luck on all these amazing projects and endeavors that you're all doing. And let's just keep shining as bright as we possibly can together. So on that note, happy new moon, and we will see you next time. Thank you.